So hi everyone, me and Mom Alawia was assigned to report Module 12, which is communicate promptly and clearly the learner's needs, progress, and achievement to key stakeholder including parents or guardians. So in selecting the most appropriate mode of communication with stakeholders, we may take note of the following parameters of consideration. So first is information confidentiality. So the nature and content of the information. So is it a personal concern or it asks a question, is it a personal concern of the learners or is it a matter of public interest that is to be shared? So content of information such as academic difficulties or behavioral delinquencies can be highly personal. So such information must be in a mood of communication that will preserve the integrity of the learner. So learners' progress, updates, and achievement can be communicated um, to the general public, especially for stakeholders such as community or industry partner. Second is stakeholder accessibility. So this is the communication preference of the stakeholder. So it asks the question: is the stakeholder an individual or a group? So an appropriate mode of communication can be characterized by sensitivity to the preferences of the stakeholders. Individual stakeholders may have a different preference on the mode of communication as compared to preferences of stakeholders that are collectively considered a group. So individual stakeholder can easily be accessed, while groups stakeholder may have requirements since they may follow some organizational protocols. So in group stakeholder is strict than in individual stakeholder. Learners concern. So the learner's details of concern, is it about it's asked about a question about it asks the question, is it about the learner's need, the learner's progress, or the learner's achievement? So any mode of communication is possible in addressing learner's concern. However, in communicating the needs or progress or achievement, other considerations have to be highlighted in such a way that information confidentiality is protected. So stakeholder accessibility is recognized and teachers' accountability is preserved. Last is teachers' accountability. So the purpose of the teacher in communicating the information. So it asks a question, is it an academic concern or is it about the learner's welfare? So the teacher has the responsibility on the information she communicates to stakeholders and on the possible consequences that there may be. So hence, the teacher has to be clear about the purpose of communicating any information to stakeholders. So now that we know the parameters of consideration and choosing the appropriate mode of communication, let us take a look at the following illustration of practice. So first illustration is personal dialogue with parents. So in conducting personal dialogue, probable stakeholders may include parents or guardians, teachers, school administrators, industry partners, and learners. So personal dialogue is suited to concern related but not limited to learners' grade, learners' interpersonal behavior, school and academic counseling, coaching, and learners' personal concerns or matters such as relationships, pregnancy, behavior delinquency, psychosocial trauma, and etc. So, personal dialogue with parents is like for example, uh, you have noticed your student, no, you have noticed your student that he or she is behaving uh behaving maybe badly and inside a classroom. So you as which is not usual maybe. So um or yes, and so you as a teacher, you are responsible uh to you're responsible to reach out the parents of that students where the dialogue with parents will start. So you are reaching out the parents in order for them to know the attitude of that child or that students. So in this way, so that the proper remediation could be made or could be addressed. So it is a for this responsibility act is this will not only help the student but also you as a student in you as a teacher rather in performing your task as a teacher. So to facilitate a productive personal dialogue with stakeholders, we may bear the following um, in mind. The do's and don'ts. So those is keep information secured and intact yet accessible. Device communication plan meeting stakeholders. Always do quarterly track assessment of needs. Focus on the positive needs or needs. Always be gorgeous in facilitating personal dialogue. So illustration of practice number two, which is group consultation. So, when conducting group consultation, or possible stakeholders are the following: so teachers, school administrators, parents or guardians, school personnel or staff, industry partner, and community officials. So the learners concerned may include but not limited to classroom or school activities and or programs, deliberation of learners' grades, class schedules, learners' curricular and or curricular participation, learner subject progress, uh, status. So, so let's say for example, in this illustration is uh, let's example, you notice that your student was making different, like he or she performs well today than the past. So you as a teacher, you consulted other you consult other teachers to ask them if that uh, student is uh, the same attitude uh, to them as a teacher. So in this way, the teacher is performing group consultation. You are consulting the concern with your other co-teachers. And then, so learners' concern which can be addressed by group consultation may include classroom or school activities and or programs, deliberation of learners' grades, class schedules, learner curricular and or co-curricular participation in learner subject progress status. So how can we do it? So this is the dose is always be honest, rational, and systematic in disclosing information, maintain transparency between and among stakeholders, provide relevant and sufficient data of learners' needs, progress, and achievement, and take note of the available feedback from the stakeholders. And then moving on to illustration of practice number three, which is home visitation. So during home visitation, the usual stakeholders are parents or guardians together with the learners. So, conducting home visitation could be our final resort in communicating concerns like learners' absenteeism, classroom performance, and personal matters such as relationship, health issues, and family problems which affect learners' behavior and performance. So, let's say for example, there are students uh, who is maybe behaving not normal, not behaving in normally, not. not the usual inside the classroom. So if you as a teacher notice that you you may uh, you may reach again the parents of that student, and if the parents will not respond immediately, this is the time that you will perform the home visitation. So in home visitation, you will know the particular mat you will know the matter, or the uh yes, you will know the real matter behind that problem that is involving inside the classroom. So yeah, that's it. So how can we do it? So there are those and don'ts, and those focus on informing the parents regarding the learner's concern, and then determine which stakeholders' feedback is relevant and which is not, and then the essential and communicate the most important concern of the learner. Make the conversation as comfortable. And then illustration practice number four, general assembly or forum. So during a general assembly or during the general assembly or forum, the information being disseminated is for general interest. Hence, the presence of all stakeholders is strongly encouraged. So to facilitate stakeholders, general assembly or forum, you can provide the stakeholders with copies of the classroom or school newsletters to update them on the different events and milestones of the school. The communication report must be also readily available for dissemination. So in facilitating a stakeholders general assembly or forum, you may consider the following. So again, the do's and don'ts: organize the information suited to our stakeholders, give stakeholder profiling for appropriate communication, always be fair in discussing needs, progress and achievement of the learners during assembly, provide copies of the agenda and minutes of resolution of the assembly. An illustration practice number five is utilizing documentation and communication tools. So in most cases, although we may be prompt in clear and communicating learners' needs, progress and achievement of stakeholders, we could be neglecting another important part which is documentation. So here is the template number one, learners needs progress and achievement card deck. So the template consists of the following parts. So the date reported, uh, this is indicate this indicates the date that the behavioral incident was observed or an academic comment is recorded. And then report intended for, which is this determines the category of the reported observation, which can be need, progress or achievement. And then details of concern. This presents a brief description of the report, and then action to be taken. This indicates the appropriately chosen mode of communication, which can be dialogue, consultation, home visitation, or assembly or forum. And then remarks or action taken. This contains the status of reported observation or incident. And then the remarks. So template number two, parents or guardian communication cardlets. The template consists of the following parts. So date reported. This indicates again the date of encounter with the parents. The types of encounter. This shows the mode of communication used during the encounter. Third is details of concern. This provides a brief description of the reason why the encounter has to be done. An agreed resolution. It specifies a brief description of the agreed resolution between the parents and the teacher, and signature of a printed name. This column provides space for the parent and teacher to sign, and then the remarks. And then here is the template 1 and 2, the format of the template. And these tools, for information, these tools may go with the anecdotal reports that we already have in schools. So in completing this, always remember to treat the records with confidentiality. Disclose the information only to the proper office or authority. So, authority if needed. So, how can we do it? So, here is a sample procedure in utilizing introducing the template to stakeholders. The first is affects your school header on the template. Second is during the first homeroom or parents' chair assembly. Distribute the cardex for parents to fill out the necessary cardex for filing. State the purpose of the cardex to parents. Make a portfolio folder for the parents or guardian. Assign synchronized reference number for both learner and parents guardian. Report students' data of concern immediately upon receiving the report from other teachers or from your own observation. So that's all. Thank you.